Hello everyone and welcome back to Digit.com, a platform where we make life simple for management students worldwide. In this video on the subject of services marketing, we are going to cover the topic on understanding consumer behavior in services. The video stresses on the importance of understanding factors that affect consumer behavior in the service industry. Additionally, the types of buying behavior vis-a-vis service industry is also fleshed out in the video. The video also covers the example of streaming giant Netflix and how it is working on understanding the password sharing behavior of its consumers and how did it nail the art of binge watching. Now let's start with understanding consumer behavior in services. Let's start with what is consumer behavior. According to C.G.Walter and G.W.Paul, consumer behavior is a process whereby individuals decide whether they want, when, where, how and from whom to purchase goods and services. In other words, it is a branch which deals with the various stages a consumer goes through before purchasing products or services for his or her end use. It is an effort to study and understand the buying tendencies and spending patterns of consumers. Not all individuals would prefer to buy similar services. And next, understanding consumer behavior via Netflix. Netflix is working on password sharing behavior. In March 2022, as part of its new password sharing policy, Netflix, in an experiment to test consumer behavior, requested customers to pay extra when sharing their account passwords outside their homes. Netflix announced a new password sharing policy in 3 markets in Latin America: Peru, Chile, and Costa Rica. The rationale behind the move in these countries stems from the fact that these countries represent Netflix's lowest revenue per user, making them more susceptible to changes in pricing. The ultimate goal is to extrapolate the findings in these 3 small markets to larger markets globally. And the final example, as in how did Netflix nail the art of binge watching? Ever wondered how can you watch an entire series on Netflix at one go and not get bored? There is something about Netflix that attracts viewers to binge watch number of shows time and again. The whole rationale lies in the suspense quotient. Netflix feeds the what next anticipation with spot-on recommendations. Netflix uses a sophisticated artificial intelligence algorithm and the autoplay features move straight to the next episode. Netflix has thus understood the consumer behavior ballgame, and with the aid of technology, it will just get better. Moving on to the factors influencing consumer behavior. Let's start with the first one, social factors. Human beings are like social animals. We need people around to talk to and discuss various issues to reach to better solutions and ideas. We all live in a society, and it's important for individuals to adhere to laws and regulations of a society. Social factors play an essential role in influencing the buying decision of consumers. Now, social factors influence consumer decisions based on the following. First, family influence. The family is a major influence on consumer behavior. Family consumer behavior, to a large extent, depends on the family life cycle. The knowledge about stages in family life cycles such as bachelorhood, newly married, parenthood help greatly in knowing the buying process. Next, reference groups. Every individual has some people around who influence him or her in any way. Co-workers, family members, relatives, neighbors, friends, seniors at workplace often form reference groups. Such reference groups have a great influence on an individual's response, cognition, and behavior. It influences a person's thoughts and actions. Next, role in the society. Everyone plays the dual role in the society depending on the group they belong to. An individual working as a chief executive officer with a reputed firm is also someone's husband and father at home. The buying tendency of individuals depend on the role he plays in the society. Next, social status. An individual from an upper middle class will spend on luxurious items, whereas an individual from the middle to lower income group buy items required for his or her survival. Moving on to factors influencing consumer behavior. In this case, personal factors. First, occupation. The occupation of an individual plays a significant role in influencing his or her buying decision. An individual's nature of job has a direct influence on the products and brand he or she buys. Next, age. Age and human life cycle also influence the buying behavior of consumers. Teenagers would be more interested in buying bright and loud colors as compared to middle-aged elderly individuals who prefer decent and subtle designs. Next, economic condition. The buying tendency of an individual is directly proportional to his income or earnings per month. How much an individual brings home decide on how much he spends and on which products and services. Next, lifestyle. Lifestyle refers to the way some individuals stay in the society. An individual's lifestyle is something to do with his style, attitude, perception, his social relations, and immediate surroundings. Next, psychological factors. First, perception. Perception is a process by which buyers select, organize, and interpret information into a meaningful impression in their mind. Buyer's perception of a service greatly influences the buying behavior. For example, if the buyer's perception of service is not positive, it may require more efforts from the marketing or salesperson to convince the buyer on the qualities of the service. Next, motivation. Motivation is a driving force within individuals that compels them to take some action. Such a driving force is subconscious and the outcome of a certain unfilled needs. Needs can be of two types. The innate needs, which an individual is born and they are mainly psychological. And secondly, needs can be acquired. Needs that a person acquires as he or she grows are love, fear, esteem, acceptance, etc. Next, learning. Learning comes only through experience. An individual comes to know about a service only after he or she uses the same. An individual who is satisfied with a product or service will show a strong inclination towards buying the same service or product again. And finally, beliefs and attitude. Beliefs and attitude play an essential role in influencing the buying decision of consumers. Individuals create a certain image of every product or service available in the market. Every brand has an image attached to it, also called its brand image. Consumers purchase products or services based on their opinions which they form towards a product or service. And finally, cultural factors. Cultural factors entail the following. First, culture. Culture comprises of a set of values and ideologies of a community or group of individuals. It is the culture of an individual which decides the way he or she behaves. In simpler words, culture is nothing but values of an individual. Moving on to the subculture. Within the culture, there are segments that share distinguishing meanings, values, and patterns of behavior that differ from those of overall culture. The members of subculture share certain values and attitude with one another. And finally, social class. Another important dimension of culture is social class. These are relatively homogeneous and follow our hierarchical order, such as upper class, middle class, and lower class. Now moving on to the types of buying behavior. There are mainly four types. First, complex buying behavior. Second, dissonance-reducing buyer behavior. Habitual buying behavior. And finally, variety-seeking buyer behavior. Let's look at each one of them briefly. Complex buying behavior. Consumers go through complex buying behavior when they are highly involved in a purchase and are aware of significant differences existing among brands. Complex buying behavior involves a three-step process. First, the buyer develops beliefs about the product. Second, he or she develops attitudes about the product. And third, he or she makes a thoughtful choice. Example in this case would be graduate students looking for a postgraduate MBA college. Next in line is the dissonance-reducing buying behavior. Sometimes the consumer is highly involved in a purchase but sees little difference in brands. The purchase is expensive, infrequent and risky, therefore the consumer is highly involved. In this case, the buyer will go around to learn what is available but will buy when he gets a good price. After the purchase, the consumer might experience dissonance as in disagreement that stems as in comes from noticing certain odd features or hearing favorable things about other brands. For example, a customer booking a flight ticket to a foreign destination for a long holiday. Next, habitual buying behavior. There are many products and services which are bought under conditions of low involvement and the absence of significant brand differences. In case of a product, take a simple example of salt. Consumers have little involvement in this product category. They go to the shop and reach for the brand. If they keep reaching for the same brand, it is out of habit, not strong brand loyalty. It is evident that consumers have low involvement with most low-cost, frequently purchased products and services. The reputation of ads create brand familiarity rather than brand conviction. As far as services is concerned, the best example is customers behave like this when selecting a movie hall for the latest movie released. And the final behavior, variety-seeking buyer behavior. Some situations are characterized by low consumer involvement but significant brand differences. Here markets are flooded with brands and consumers often do a lot of brand switching. Brand switching occurs for the sake of variety rather than dissatisfaction. Best example in this case, couple trying out new restaurants every week. That doesn't mean they are dissatisfied with the current one that they go to. They just want to engage in the aspect of variety seeking. So that's it folks. This brings an end to the topic on understanding consumer behavior and services. These are the list of sources and links referred to for the content in the video. Thank you.